Hey, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this cute Magnolia image called Dandelion Tilda. Isn't she cute? I love all the stuff flying around on the outside of her. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. This time I stamped this little sentiment for the card kit, and it comes from the CC Designs Happy Sentiments stamp set, which you can also purchase separately. It has a bunch of really cute sentiments that you can use on other projects. So I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. Okay, so let's start out by outlining our image. For that, we're going to use C1, BG, quadruple 0, and our colorless blender. I'm going to start with my C1, and I want to add a little bit of shadows. So I'm going to go in here and add a little bitty line next to her legs. And then wherever I think there's going to be a little dark, so let's do a little bit right here next to her skirt. And then maybe a little bit right here next to her skirt. And then up here, I'm going to do some of this hair. Just add a little bit of more dark in there. How about this one right here, just a little bit. And over here, how about a little bit underneath of her hairline right there. And then I'm going to take my BG quadruple 0, and I'm going to go right over that line. And then I'm going to go all the way around my girl. And I like to do this first, so in case I accidentally color something I didn't want color on, it's easy to erase. And work our way down here to the other side. Make sure to get that gray I put there. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender, and I'm just going to touch down on top of my girl and wipe out past both of those colors. And that will just soften the edge of that blue. You could also take the cloud template that is available on the left-hand sidebar of the store blog and make some clouds in the background. That would be really cute. Like this. And then I'm going to swirl over this middle section right here. Next, let's work on her skin and her cheeks. For her skin, we're going to use E11, 21, 00, 000. For her cheeks, I'm going to use R02, 12, and 11. And let's start down here on her leg. So I'm going to do my E11 first. Forgot what I was doing there. And go right along here along the skirt of her dress. And then I'm going to come down here on her knee and do the inside of her foot. And right here, she's got her foot comes over and the grass covers up her toe. So I'm just going to ignore this grass and come clear back across the bottom of her foot. And then maybe a little bit down right here where there's some shadow right here. And then the back of her knee. And then same for this side. Let's go underneath of her dress. And then down the inside of her leg. A little bit of dots right here, and then again I want to do the bottom of her foot. So let's go around like this. And then I'm going to go with E21, and I just want to soften that edge, so I'm going to brush on top of my E11 and bring it out more into my white. And then we'll add some E00. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of this little dimple on her knee up. And then let's bring some of this out. And let's do this side. And I think I'll just fill that the rest of the way in on both legs. And then I'll take my E000 and wipe across both sides, just to smooth those lines a little bit more. And let's go up here and do her hands next. So again, I'm going to start with my E11. let's go right next to, and there's some little dots already here on the stamped image that help with where I want to put my darkest shadows. And we'll go around the bottom of her hand, and then over here underneath the flower again, and then her thumb, and along the bottom there. And then we'll brush on a little bit of our E21. Soften that edge a little bit. And then I'm going to fill it in with my E000. And then go over both with my that last one was E00, and then go over it, the whole thing with my E000. Okay, so for the neck and the face, let's again start with our E11. We're going to go right along here. And then for her face, let's do right along her bangs. And let's do a little bit up here. And we'll come right along the bottom here. And she's got a little bit of skin showing through where her bangs is touching her forehead. And we're going to bring this right down here and along her neck. And then I'm going to add E21. And then let's bring this line down and around to connect over here. And then I'm going to add E00. Let's fill in the rest of her neck. And then we're just going to brush this in towards the center. And then E000. I'm going to go back over it a second time after the cheek color. So let's do cheeks with R02. And I use the little dots on her face as my guide where I want to put my color. And then R12. And then R11. And then I'm going to grab E21, and let's do a little bit right here along the sides, and from this side, and then we'll add E00. Let's brush right over those cheeks, and same for this side, right over the top of that cheek. And then my E000 across the entire thing. And I think I'll pink her cheeks up a little bit more, so I'm going to go with R02. R12. R11. And then my E000 over those cheeks just to soften them a little bit. For her hair, let's use E57, 55, and 50. And this time, I'm going to do a little bit different. I wanted her hair to be a little bit more streaky, so I'm going to start up here at the top, and I'm just going to pick some lines. She's got some great lines already here in her hair, and I'm just going to color them in. So let's say I'll pick this one, and then I'll work my way down. So let's do, I'm just randomly picking some, coloring all the way down. And maybe one in here. And then for the bottom down here, I'm just going to brush right along the edge of her face. Try not to color her face. And then we're going to do the same thing for her bangs. So let's pick a streak. And then we'll finish over here. Let's do a little bit down here next to this, so I don't forget. And then again for these, we're just going to pick one and give it some stripes. And maybe one right here. And then I'm going to grab E55. Same thing, I'm just going to add some stripes, so let's pick a spot. And just add some color. And maybe a little bit more right here. And then I'm going to take my E50 and I'm just going to go over the entire thing and fill in the extra spaces that I left white and also kind of smush all these colors together. And then I think I'll go back with my E57 again and just darken up a few of these little stripes that I've made. I think I'll do this one over here too. Make it a little bit more balanced on this side. And then I just left it all streaky like that. For her dress, let's use V95, 93, 91 in our colorless blender. I'm going to start with V95. Let's do a little bit here on her shoulder and then along these little great dots on her dress. And over here's a few dots. And then here's some, so let's use these. I'm going to go ahead and go down the bottom of her sleeve. I'm going to color the inside of her sleeve in. Let's do right here in the crook and around her thumb. And then I want to do the bottom part of her skirt. And then I'm going to go with V93. And we touch down on top of V95 and just brush a little bit further out. And then we'll add V91. And fill it the rest of the way in. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and go along the bottom of her skirt. Kind of soften that up. Maybe a little bit here on the edge of her sleeves, on her shoulder. And then I'm going to go back with my V95 and put some of those shadows back in. I think I'll soften this one in her sleeve just a little bit. So I've got V93. Got a little wobbly there with my pen. And then V91. For these dandelions she's holding, let's do E18, 8, YR27, and Y23. I'm going to start with my E18. And I'm going to do along the edge that are touching her hand. And then she's got a second flower over here, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to divide. Sorry about that, my alarm on my phone went off. I forgot to turn it off. So anyway, we're going to go with our E18, and let's go right up here along the top of this third flower, or the bottom of the third flower. Then I'm going to add E08 right along the edge of that last color. And then we'll add YR27. And then we'll go over the entire thing with our Y23. I'm going to go a little circle here in the middle of my flower. Just kind of swirl it around. I'll add a little bit of yellow out here in this brown and kind of smush everything down. So let's give her something to stand on. So how about some grass down here with G99, 85, and 43. I'm going to start with my G99. And I'm going to draw a line right across the bottom of her foot and over here to the other side. And then I'm going to use some of these grass blades to just flick some color over the top. Like that. And then I'm going to go in with G85. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of color down here on the bottom underneath of her foot. And then we're going to add some more grass. So I'm going to pick different grass blades, or you can just add some in too. And then we're going to add G43. And then I'm going to add some more grass in here. And then I think I'll go back with my G99 and just darken up this shadow underneath of her foot. Let's hop up here and do these butterflies next. For that, we're going to use V15 and 12, and then for their bodies, I'm going to use E18. I'm going to start with my V15, and I'm just going to do a little streak. I'm going to fill in the bottom wings, and then the top wing, I'm just going to do a little stripe in the middle. Same up here, I'm going to fill in the bottom wing, and then give each of these top wings a little stripe. And then we're going to add V12. So go ahead and fill in the rest of their wings up here at the top. Nothing too fancy for those. And then we'll take our E18 and cover the center of their bodies up. You got to use just the tip of your pen because those are pretty small. Down here. And while I got this out, I'm also going to do the bottoms of these dandelion puffs that are floating in the air with my E18. And then I'm going to do the puffs with Y21. So I'm just going to do little stars on top of these little extra sections, those little puffy things flying off. So I'm just going right over the top of the little sticks that are already there. And I'm making most of them a lot long, quite a bit longer than them going past what they are actually the size is. So there's our beautiful Dandelion Tilda all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? And then again, here's the finished card. So on my card, I added some Sharpie white paint pen to her cheeks, and remember to shake that with the lid on so it doesn't spray everywhere. I did some Spica glitter pen and clear to her hair, and then I did the little butterfly antennas, and I did a little bit on each of these little dandelion puffs. Otherwise, she's popped up on Pop Dots, and this little sentiment is popped up, and everything else is just stuck down to the base of the card. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment, and I will make sure to get back to you. If you like the video, hit the like button so I know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.